Click the bell icon to get latest videos from Ekeeda.
Hello friends, we'll be learning about what do we mean by trial balance, how do we prepare it, what is the specimen that is used, and what are the definitions, the reason why a specific trial balance is prepared. We'll be preparing trial balance today. We'll be understanding the definition, the meaning of trial balance, the specimen, the format that has been used, and the methods that are used to prepare trial balance. So let's go ahead and see how a specific trial balance is prepared. So to start with, trial balance is one of the specific format that has been used when it comes to summarizing all the accounts or all the transactions which have been mentioned in a journal. So the process that we follow, earlier process which was followed in these terms was identifying the transactions, measuring the transactions in terms of monetary value, classifying and summarizing these transactions, analysis, interpretation, and communication to the user. Now, this whole process of giving out details when it comes to accountancy has been segregated into different books. When you give out informations to users, you just don't hand over the information verbally. You give it out in a documented way. Now, how do we give out in a documented way? We need certain papers, we need certain documents, or probably we need certain reports which will describe the financial situation of the condition or the condition of the specific company when it comes to financial analysis. Hence, a specific trial balance is prepared. Now, trial balance is the furthermost prospect or probably the furthermost step when it comes to accountancy. To understand how to prepare a trial balance, let's just understand the meaning of trial balance first. I'll write down certain definitions for you. Just go ahead and see how do you understand this specific trial balance in nature. So if we can see, I've mentioned certain process that has been followed when it comes to preparation of accountancy or probably preparation of accounting statements. The first transaction being, or the specific process being, identification of any transaction. When it comes to identification of any transaction, you identify whether the transaction is of business nature or not, or whether the transaction is of financial nature, as we have studied earlier. Once the transaction has been identified that it is of business nature or a financial transaction, you record those transactions when you convert them into monetary terms. When any transaction has been converted into monetary terms, you classify them and you summarize them under specifications which have been mentioned here. One being journal. The second one being ledger. So, when you journalize the entry, that means you have mentioned that specific transaction which is in monetary terms in a journal book. That means you record the transactions. Once you record the transaction, you have updated these transactions in the journal book. Once the journal is completely updated, the next process that we follow is preparation of a ledger account. Once this ledger account has been prepared, we'll be further continuing with the trial balance, the topic of the day. So, trial balance is nothing but summarizing or classification of all the journal entries which have been posted into a ledger and the balance which has been carried down from ledger to trial balance. So, trial balance is nothing but the balances of all the accounts which have been formed in the ledger, and the ledger creation has been done on the basis of the journal entries that we have passed in the earlier process. Once the trial balance has been prepared, this summarizes or this specification gives the chartered accountant a base to prepare the statement of accounts. That means profit and loss account and balance sheet. So, both these statement of accounts can be prepared only if the earlier process has been followed. That means recording of journal entries, and the second one would be formation of ledger accounts. Once both these things are prepared, on the basis of that, a trial balance is prepared, and certain trial balances which we have in our system right now helps us to prepare the statement of accounts. That will be profit and loss account and balance sheet. And by the closure of balance sheet, the closure or the process of accountancy gets over there. So when we talk about accountancy or when we talk about any process related to accountancy, it comes to an end when the balance sheet has been prepared. So to understand what do you mean by trial balance, we'll be going through certain topics, we'll be going through certain definitions. Now, trial balance is nothing but a specified specimen which has been given to understand the arithmetical accuracy of all the ledgers and all the journal transactions which have been mentioned. So in the earlier process, when we have understood or when we have studied that a journal entry has been passed and the entries of journals have been posted into a ledger, the balances of ledger are then carried forward to a trial balance. So this specific trial balance will help us understand whether the journal entries have been mentioned correctly and the ledgers have been posted in an accurate manner. If they are not, if there is any error, trial balance will locate that error and the same thing will be reflected in the trial balance, which will help us to rectify all the errors before preparing the financial accounts of statements such as profit and loss account and balance sheet. So to understand this thing, trial balance is the important key when it comes to preparation of statement of accounts. This specific trial balance is usually prepared at the end of accounting year. Not necessarily, however, this trial balance can be prepared as per the jurisdiction or as per the specifications of the company. It can either be prepared monthly, it can either be prepared quarterly, it can be either prepared half yearly or an yearly trial balance as the company deems fit. Now, once this trial balance has been prepared, the same thing is used for preparation of statement of accounts. The first being profit and loss account, which we'll be learning in the next chapters, and the balance sheet, on which we have an entire chapter which is known as financial of accounting statements. So, once we talk about trial balance, we'll be understanding that this specific is used to find out the arithmetic accuracy of all the ledger and journal transactions and to find out if there are any errors which have been mentioned in the preparation of trial balance. So I'll be giving you certain examples or certain stock examples which will mention or probably give you more clarity on what kind of transactions we have, how the balances are carried forward, and what kind of balances do these ledger postings have. So to understand, I'll just write out certain things, go through that. So as I've mentioned here, certain topics and certain terms that you need to understand. The reasons why we prepare this trial balance, we have three basic and core reasons to understand why a trial balance is prepared. The first one being arithmetical accuracy ascertainment. So to ascertain the balance or to ascertain the arithmetical accuracy of any transaction that we have mentioned either in the journal or in the ledger, to understand whether the balances that has been mentioned in the ledger are correct and accurate. That's the reason we provide or we process this specific trial balance statement to understand that all these ledgers and all these journal entries have been passed correctly. Just to mention, this trial balance or probably any trial balance that we prepare will not give correct details or any arithmetical accuracy when it comes to being precise. I'm telling you being precise, the reason because there are certain errors which may be rectified after preparation of trial balance, or probably there are certain errors which may not get rectified because they are not identified in the latest stage. So when we talk about recording of journal entries or when we talk about recording the journal entries in the ledgers when it comes to balance posting, we need to understand there are certain errors which may be identified at the later stage when it comes to preparation of statement of accounts like profit and loss account or probably maintenance of balance sheet. At that point of time, there are certain errors which might have been skipped when it comes to preparation of trial balance. Hence, this specific format or the trial balance doesn't give out 100% of accuracy, but it ensures that all the errors which could have been identified in the first stage itself are skipped out and probably they are mitigated to all the causes. Hence, these errors which have been mentioned in the first stage will be rectified at the first stage itself. That's the reason we prepare a trial balance. Hence, when we talk about arithmetical accuracy, this is the exact meaning of arithmetical accuracy when we talk about preparation of trial balance. The second part or the second reason, the core reason that we find out to reason or probably the reason when a trial balance is prepared is to identify the errors. Now, when we spoke about arithmetical accuracy, we actually meant about what kind of errors we have. If probably any error which has been omitted in the first stage will not be identified unless and until the balances are tallied, or probably when this error gets identified in the later stage of preparation of financial accounts. However, if certain errors which have been like totaling error or probably wrong posting errors with the same amount or wrong posting of errors in a different account, these identified errors can be easily rectified in the first place when we talk about preparation of trial balance. So when we talk about creation of specific trial balance with the core reason of locating errors, that means we're trying to locate the errors which could have been identified in the first stage. So such errors like wrong posting, wrong totaling, wrong account credit or debit could have been easily identified if the trial balance is prepared in the first instance itself. Hence, the importance of trial balance, or the second most important reason why a trial balance is prepared, is to understand where are the errors and how they could be rectified. There is a separate chapter on this which we call as rectification of errors, which we'll be going through in the next video. However, when it comes to preparation of trial balance, we need to understand that there are certain errors which could have been identified or which will be identified in the first stage and can be rectified. So this is the second reason. Now, when we talk about the third reason that I've mentioned here is help proper preparation of financial statements. If you have arithmetical accuracy of all the ledgers and journal postings, if you have located all the errors and you have rectified them, that means your preparation of financial statement will be successful and the financial statements will be error-free. Remember, we have always mentioned that we give out users the information from the financial statements. Now, when you give out users this information, it has to be error-free so that proper and specific decisions can be made. Because when you give out these information, this should be error-free so that every decision that has been taken for the betterment of the organization will be effective and there is no reason for the decision to be flawless. So, when we talk about anything which refers to preparation of trial balance, journal or ledger, it should always be error-free. So, these specific reasons or the three core reasons that we have mentioned, one being arithmetical accuracy, second being locating errors, and because of these two reasons, preparation of financial statements in an error-free way is the reason why a trial balance is prepared. Now, how do you prepare a trial balance? How do you understand that a specific trial balance has been accurately made and has no errors in it? So, there are three methods or three ways which we'll be understanding in the next video. However, just to give you a gist of this, the three methods out of which we'll be studying for the preparation of trial balance are total method, balance method, and total cum balance method. Now, how we prepare this specific trial balance, there is a specific format. We call it a 4-column format. Now, when we talk about a 4-column format, we have accounts, particulars, JF, that is the ledger folio or the journal folio as per the requirement, and the debit balance and the credit balance. When we talk about debit balance and credit balance, a trial balance always has these two columns. Total of debit balance, total of credit balance should always tally in terms of trial balance. If there is any error in the totaling of debit balance and the credit balance of the trial balance, that means there is certain error in the preparation of journal entries and ledgers, and that's the reason this error has been identified or located here. Once you rectify this error here, your trial balance is completely error-free, and this can be provided further to preparation of profit and loss account and statement of accounts, that is balance sheet. So, to understand how we prepare this, how the specimen is done, we'll be understanding or we'll be going through this specific specimen of trial balance in the next lecture. This was all about trial balance and preparation and the meaning of trial balance. Thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned to Ekeeda and keep watching Ekeeda.